Hi friends, welcome to Beautifully Bookish Bethany. In today's video, I have a book haul for you, and I think I bought fewer books than usual. So yay. Okay, so this is not to say that I didn't buy books, because I certainly did, and I had quite a number of books sent to me this month as well, so I've got lots of exciting things to share, but I think I did better, which is probably also good because I'm heading into the holiday season. So do I need to be buying a ton more books right now? No. No, I do not. These are all the books that have made their way into my collection in the month of November. Whew. Okay. All right. We're going to start with my pre-orders. I had several of them. The first one, I cannot remember if this made it into my last book haul, but I don't think that it did. I think it arrived too late. I guess we'll see. But this is The Christmas Escape by Sarah Morgan. Sarah Morgan's Christmas books every year are an auto-buy for me, so I didn't even know before this arrived and I started talking about it what it was about. But I just love the way that she writes character arcs and growth and family relationships. I think she is amazing at that, and her books are always great. She always has a Christmas book. It's like women's fiction, but usually there's also a strong romantic subplot as well. And this one follows a family with, I think, best friends. So like, one of them is experiencing a marriage crisis. They're going on a trip to Lapland. The other one has an unexpected romance under the Northern Lights. I mean, it's going to be great and cozy. I'm excited. I also pre-ordered a copy of Daughter of the Deep by Rick Riordan. It's the start of a new series that is inspired by 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which sounds good. Am I gonna love it? I don't know for sure. Like, his books are kind of hit and miss for me, but I do really want to try this one. And the premise sounded intriguing. Then I have one of the most beautiful books to enter my collection this year, and I heard about this from Kristen at Merrily Kristen. It's a gorgeous illustrated edition of The Lord of the Rings, and I especially felt good about buying this because I just finally read all of them, and you know, so I can have it. It's really pretty. It's got sprayed edges, it's got a bookmark. Like, this book is stunning. It has like fancy maps inside of it. It's got illustrations from Tolkien inside, like throughout it. It's just like, oh my gosh, such a gorgeous edition. There's like original illustrations, if you can see that. So yeah, this was definitely a splurge, but I am so thrilled to have it. And now I've actually read them all, and I can put this on my shelves. It's really beautiful. I also have a pre-order of what ended up being one of my more disappointing books of the year, so I haven't decided what I'm gonna do with it yet. Maybe I'll sell it. It's such a bummer. But this is Gilded by Marissa Meyer. I pre-ordered a signed copy. I'm so sad. I thought I was gonna love this. It's the first in a series, which I didn't realize. I thought it was a standalone, but it's a Rumpelstiltskin retelling. There were things I liked about it, but it was way too long. It's over 500 pages, and it's the start of a series, and yeah, it was a disappointment for me. So that's a bummer. I will probably sell it, and the pin that came with it. Like the worst when that happens. My final pre-order for the month is All the Feels by Olivia Dade, and this thankfully was not a disappointment for me at all. I loved it. This is gonna be on my favorite books of the year list, and yeah, I'm thrilled to have it. I loved it. It was great. Next is all of the books that were sent to me this month, mostly things for review, although I do have one gift from a patron, which was really sweet. So I'm holding the stack, so I'm just gonna go down the stack. These are in no particular order. I think I somehow ended up on the mailing list for Entangled Publishing, and so they've been sending me a bunch of romances lately. I have The Rogue King by Abigail Owen. Honestly, I didn't super love this. I did actually read it, and I talked about it in my mid-month wrap-up. Oh my gosh, don't drop all the books. Honestly, I didn't love this one super much. It's a dragon shifter romance. I talk about this in my mid-month wrap-up if you haven't seen it already, but I do appreciate them sending me a copy, so thank you. They also sent a new book that I have not read yet, but it looks interesting. This is The Hookup Dilemma by Constance Gillam. I think this like just came out or is about to come out. There's a thing with it. Let's see. Okay, so this just came out November 16th. and it says, what happens when a random hookup turns into the ultimate dilemma? So they have a one-night stand and then end up on opposite sides of a fight of some sort between Elliot's company and Rashida's community. Then Beth, one of my wonderful patrons, very kindly sent me a copy of The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. I think she had accidentally pre-ordered 2 copies and offered to send me her extra. So thank you so much. I love this. It's got like a dragon on the cover. It's epic fantasy. I've read one thing from John Gwynne so far and I really enjoyed it. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. And I think we're going to be buddy reading it together in like January or February, which should be fun. Next is the thing that's newest. I haven't even like actually shown this on Instagram yet as I'm filming this, but I unexpectedly got an ARC of a book coming out in March. I already had an e-ARC of this from NetGalley, but I'm really happy to have a physical copy. Actually, this looks interesting. This is The Resting Place by Camilla Sten. She's the author of The Lost Village. Her work is translated from Swedish. I think she's a Swedish author, but it's being translated into English, and this is like a mystery thriller that sounded really interesting. And they also sent along with it this cute little like little lined notebook that says secrets don't die, and then it's got like pictures inside, so that was cute. So thank you to Minotaur Books for sending that. Also, for the very first time ever, I won a Goodreads giveaway. I didn't know people actually won these. I would enter them and I've never won anything before, but I won something and it's a book I'm very excited to have. I got A Clash of Steel by C.B. Lee. This is a book I was interested in buying anyway. It's part of their Remixed Classics series. This is a remix of Treasure Island, and I'm very excited to read it. So thank you so much to Macmillan for that. That was exciting. Like 2022 ARCs are really starting to roll in, guys. I've got one from Tor.com. This is Redwood Wildfire by Andrea Hairston. This originally was published as an indie thing, and she's now getting traditionally published, and this sounded really interesting. At the turn of the 20th century, Redwood, an African-American woman, and Aidan, a Seminole Irish man, journey from Georgia to Chicago, from haunted swampland to the city of the future. They are gifted performers and hoodoo conjurers struggling to come to terms with their own personal trauma while calling up the wondrous world they imagine, on stage and screen, on city streets, in front parlors, and in wounded hearts. Anyway, so this sounds really interesting. They reached out to me about that, so I'm excited to give that a read. Then another March release that's coming from Flatiron Books. We have This Golden State by Merritt Weisenberg. I have read from her before and really enjoyed her stuff. She does like YA thrillers, and this sounded interesting. It says, a propulsive breakout novel following a family on the run, a restless teenage daughter hungry for the truth, and the simple DNA test that threatens their carefully crafted world. She's grown up with a family that's always been on the run and she doesn't know why. Sounds interesting. Then Kensington Books sent something that I'm hoping to read really soon. This is coming out in December. It's a romance called And They Lived Happily Ever After by Therese Bahari. I'm excited to read this because I've really been wanting to read from her. I've got a few things from her on my bookshelf. She is a South African romance author, and this just sounded really good. Loaded with heart, heat, smart, sexy banter, and a touch of magic, acclaimed South African author Therese Bahari's rom-com addresses issues around the foster care system, mental health, and the power of creativity for a sparkling story about a romance novelist who conjures her own real-life hero. That sounds so up my alley, and I'm really excited to read it. So thank you so much to Kensington for sending it along. Then lastly, I have 2 books that were sent to me for review from Milkweed Editions. One of them has already been published in the UK, and it's now getting published in the US. It's like an award-winning book. Okay, it was published. Okay, so this came out in the US in June, like June 8th, 2021. But I think the reason they're sending it around is that it's a Waterstones Book of the Year finalist, and they're kind of pushing this. So they sent me this beautiful copy of Diary of a Young Naturalist by Dara McAnulty. And this was written by a 16-year-old. It's like nature writing, and it's been winning awards, and the book itself is beautiful. It's not super long, but it sounded really cool. So thank you to them. I'm going to be reading that pretty soon. And then they sent me a poetry collection that's coming out March 8th. This is called The Kissing of Kissing, Poems by Hannah Emerson. Hannah Emerson is a non-speaking artistic artist and poet, and this is a poetry collection she's releasing with them that sounded great, so I'm excited to read that as well. So thank you so much to Milkweed Editions. Whew, yeah, a lot of 2022 stuff starting to come through, so hopefully it's interesting for you guys to see some of the books that are coming out next year, and I'll let you know what I think of them when I get to review them. Lastly, I have a stack of books that were not pre-orders that I purchased this month. So we will end with those. One I picked up at Barnes & Noble. I almost pre-ordered this and then I kind of forgot, but it is one I want to read. This is The Fall of Babel by Josiah Bancroft. It is the fourth and final book in the Books of Babel series. I've read the first two. I love them. I need to catch up and read the last two, but it's a tome, but these are so good. Really, really interesting, inventive fantasy. For Halloween, I went to Goodwill to find stuff for costume and browsed their books, and they had a book for like 99 cents that I've heard good things about, so I decided to get a copy. This is The Stormrunner by J.C. Cervantes. It's part of the Rick Riordan Presents imprint, and this is like Latinx mythology, Mayan mythology, a take on Mayan mythology. It's a middle grade story, so I was like, yeah, for $1, awesome. I have two books that had been on my wish list that went super on sale, so I decided to pick them up. One is Heart's Desire by Wendy LaCapra. I don't remember what convinced me exactly to put this on my wish list, but something did, and it was like $4. So I was like, yeah, sure. So another historical romance. And then I want to eventually collect more of these and read them when they go on sale, but this is Equal Rights by Terry Pratchett. I really love these hardcover editions with the beautiful artwork. I'm not a big fan of the regular covers, but these are really nice, and I've been interested in reading from the Witches series. This is the first book in the Discworld Witches series. And the last book that I bought, I am blaming on Eloisa James. If you're on TikTok and you're a romance reader, you should definitely follow her because she's wonderful and funny. But she was recommending this book and I was like, okay, that sounds great, so I'm gonna get it. This is The Perks of Loving a Wallflower by Erica Ridley. It's a historical sapphic romance, and she was just saying it's fantastic, so I picked it up. It looks fun. There you go. Those are all the books that I've gotten in the month of November. Hopefully this was fun and interesting to kind of see what's on my shelves, what's coming out next year. Talk to me in the comments down below. Let me know any of your thoughts or feelings on anything I talked about in this video. And for your question of the day, tell me about one of your anticipated releases for 2022 if you have them. Now that we're starting to like really get books coming in that are getting published next year, let me know if you have things that you're anticipating in the coming year. If you like this video, it helps if you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.